Christmas morning smelled like cinnamon, lies, and tension baked into red velvet curtains. My fiancé, Cole, had never seen my childhood photos. So my mom pulled out the old leather albums. Gold trim. Dusty corners. A relic of a past I barely spoke of. He flipped through the pages slowly, smiling until he wasn't. Page 7. The smile died. He leaned in, blinked. Then again. Slower. And then, don't you see it? His voice dropped to a whisper. Tight. Urgent. I laughed nervously. See what? His hand trembled as he pointed. Her. There. And there. And there again. It was my mom. Same coat. Same earrings. In different photos. At different locations. Years apart. Always in the background. Always watching someone else. Not me. 5 hours later, I called a number I should have never had. But I did. And when the operator answered, Central Intelligence, name and contact, I just said, my name is Emery Quinn, and I think my entire life was staged. If you think this ends with cold turkey and a family fight, stay with me. Because what happens when your mother isn't who she says she is? When the people who raised you weren't meant to love you, but monitor you? When the man you're about to marry spots something trained agents missed for years? I used to think memory was a scrapbook. Now I know it's a puzzle. One someone didn't want me solving. So I went digging. And what I found, it wasn't just betrayal. It was protocol. The kind written in red ink. The kind that disappears if you blink too hard. The woman on the other end of the CIA line didn't ask many questions. Just two. Is your mother's name Margaret Quinn? And how long have you known? Not if. How long? She asked for a safe callback number. Then disconnected. Cole paced behind me, hands in his hair. Emery, we shouldn't have called them. But something in his eyes said we had to. Something beyond panic. Almost memory. He pointed again to the photo. My dad. That's him. Look. At the fair in '94. But Emery, he said he'd never been to Ohio. There she was. My mom. 2 feet behind his father. I was 2 years old. He wasn't even supposed to be born yet. I stared at the page like it might blink first. It didn't. I ran to the attic. Pulled every album down. Cross-referenced timestamps. Outfits. Background faces. And there she was again. In a crowd at a protest Cole's mother once attended. At a graduation ceremony for a school none of us had gone to. Even in a blurry background at a hospital in Denver, the day I was born. That night, I confronted her. Why are you in these photos? Mom didn't blink. Oh, honey, I used to travel a lot for work. She said it like she was explaining away dry cleaning. What work? She paused. Then, I told you, I was in logistics. Cole whispered. Emery, say the phrase. I stared at her. The phrase. The one the operator told me on the phone. The sky over Cyprus is clear today. Her wine glass slipped. Shattered on tile. She stood. Backed away like I had grown claws. You don't understand what you've done. I stepped forward. Oh, I think I'm beginning to. Because my childhood? The bedtime stories? The schools, the moves, the strict routines? It wasn't parenting. It was positioning. And now, whatever my mother had protected for decades was about to collapse. Not because I was careless. Because I was finally curious. She didn't sleep that night. I heard her pacing through the vents. One room to another, floorboards creaking like nerves cracking. By morning, she was gone. Not a note. Not a trace. Only thing left? Her red lipstick smeared across the bathroom mirror like a target. I called the CIA line again. Gave them my name. The voice was different this time. Male. Flat. Direct. Ms. Quinn, your mother's designation was Omega 9. She hasn't been active in 2 decades. Designation. I echoed. Classified surveillance. Deep civilian embed. Long term. I froze. You're telling me my entire life was a cover mission? A pause. Then, it's more complicated than that. She didn't just monitor. She protected. From what?
They wouldn't say.
But when I hung up, Cole was already at the kitchen table. Laptop open. Tabs everywhere. He had found an old agency leak. A document buried in a forum, scrubbed now. But not before he screenshotted it. Codename, Threshold. Operation parameters. Secure the asset under domestic cover. Monitor emotional anomalies and pattern shifts. Neutralize exposure if detected. Asset.
Me.
I backed away from the screen. My throat felt like a locked file. She was assigned to me, I whispered. Cole turned the screen. The last line of the document. If psychological development exceeds baseline markers, initiate phase 2. What's phase 2? I asked. But I already knew. It meant removal. I wasn't raised. I was managed. And now that I was asking questions, I wasn't just off script. I was a threat. Cole looked at me, trembling. Emery, did your mom ever take you to the doctor? Only her friend, Aunt Leah. Ever meet her outside appointments? I shook my head.
No.
Cole opened another file. Government registry.
There was no Leah.
Just a woman named Elia Mendez. Former behavioral analyst. CIA. Deceased, 2012. But I saw her last year.
Alive.
Laughing. Pouring tea. Nothing about my life was mine. And somewhere out there, a woman with my mother's eyes was preparing for phase 2.
We didn't pack.
We just ran. Cole drove. I stared at the mirror, waiting for a car to follow that never came. But the silence was worse. Because somewhere out there, a woman I once called Mom was deciding whether I lived or disappeared. We stopped at a roadside diner 2 states away. I ordered pancakes. The waitress smiled.
Poured coffee.
But her sleeve rode up just enough to show something. A faded tattoo. The same one my mom had on her ankle. A tiny triangle. 3 dots inside. I dropped my fork. Cole noticed too. We left cash and walked out fast. No words. Back in the car, I whispered. She's not working alone. He nodded slowly, then said something that chilled me. Emery, what if your mom didn't disappear? I turned. What do you mean? She's always 3 steps ahead. What if she let you find that phrase? What if this is phase 2?
My head spun.
Had she staged her own flight? Lured me into movement?
But why?
We checked into a motel under false names. Burner phones. Curtains drawn. And that's where I found it. In the lining of my old backpack. The one she gave me senior year. A tiny chip, sealed in fabric. Cole hacked it. 1 file. Encrypted. He cracked the code in an hour. It was a video. Black and white. Fuzzy sound. A hospital room. And a woman. Younger, crying, holding a baby. Then my mother's voice off screen. We'll keep her safe. This is the only way. The woman sobbed. Signed a paper.
Cole paused the frame. Zoomed.
My birth certificate. But not my mom's name. Angela Harper. 23.
Student.
No criminal record. My real mother. I wasn't just a protected asset. I was a stolen one. And now, someone had started burning the paper trail. Because just hours after that video ended, the diner we visited burned down. And my fake name had been used at a gas station 2 hours later. Someone was tracing our route, playing with us, or warning us. We drove through the night. Highways blurred. Phone off. No music. Just fear pacing between us. Cole pulled off onto a dirt road somewhere in Virginia. An old contact, a safe house from his mother's past. He'd never seen it, but she told him once, if the world ever flips, find the silo. It was buried behind pine trees. Rust-red hatch. Coded lock. The keypad blinked when we approached. He typed 6 digits. The name of the woman in the video. Angela.
Click.
The door creaked open. Inside. Cold concrete, low lights, a single desk. And sitting behind it was the woman from the video. Not a memory.
Alive.
She stood. Older now.
Shaking.
I whispered. Angela? She nodded. I never thought you'd find me. Not after what they did. I took a step forward. My knees almost gave out. Why, oh, why did you give me up? Her eyes filled. Voice cracked. They told me it was temporary. They said you'd be in danger. That I wasn't equipped to protect you. They showed me files, photos, said I'd lose custody anyway. I shook my head.
No.
She raised me like I was her project. I was her assignment. Angela walked to a drawer, pulled out a folder. Inside were reports.
Dates.
Surveillance logs. My first steps. My school essays. Notes from my therapy sessions. All observed. Analyzed.
Filed.
Angela's hands trembled. I started getting pieces of it. Years later, someone inside, they tried to leak me the truth. Cole asked, who? Angela stared hard. Her name was Leah. She was supposed to be your behavioral analyst, but she went rogue. She couldn't take it anymore. She started feeding me scraps. But she died, I said. Angela's voice went quiet.
No.
She disappeared. The obituary was a fake. The same way mine was once. My breath caught. You mean? Angela nodded. She's alive. And she's waiting for you. She said you'd come. Where? Angela handed me a single key. Old. Rusted. Labeled. Mirror House. She said if you ever wanted to stop running, you have to go where it all started. I looked at Cole. He nodded once. And in that moment I knew. We weren't running anymore. We were about to walk straight into the truth. Mirror House wasn't on any map. Angela gave us rough coordinates, deep in the Blue Ridge Mountains, past where the roads had names, past where phone signals dared to go. It took us 2 days. When we arrived, it didn't look like a house. It looked like a memory that had tried to erase itself. A weathered cabin with mirrored glass windows, each one reflecting the forest so perfectly, it felt invisible. I stepped onto the porch. The floorboards didn't creak. It was too precise for that. Cole whispered, "You sure about this?" I nodded. If I die today, I want the truth first. The door opened before I could knock. A woman stood there, salt gray hair in a tight braid, no makeup, sharp eyes. "Emery Quinn," she said. Her voice hadn't aged. It was her.
Leah. Alive.
"I've been waiting," she said. She let us in. Inside, nothing decorative. Just metal filing cabinets, sealed crates, an old IBM terminal humming softly. She gestured to the walls. Dozens of pinned photos. Me at different ages. With my mother. With others I didn't recognize. But then I saw her.
Angela.
In the background of at least a dozen shots. Sometimes blurry. Sometimes clear. She'd been trying to stay close. Without being seen. Leah sat down. Folded her hands. "You weren't just a project. You were an experiment." My stomach turned. Experiment. She nodded. After the Berlin protocols failed, the agency ran something called Origin Draft. It was based on the idea that some children, if raised under observation, could become adaptive architects. People who influence systems without realizing it. Cole muttered, "Social engineering."
Leah looked at me.
"Your mind is what they wanted, but your heart got in the way." I whispered, "So she was never my mom?" "She was your handler," Leah said. "Then who am I really?" Leah reached into her desk, pulled out a birth certificate. Angela's name. My real birth date. But under name, not Emery.
Eden.
"Your real name is Eden Harper," Leah said. "And the moment you reclaimed it, Phase 3 began." I froze. Phase 3. That's when the asset wakes up. She turned her screen toward me. Live footage. My old house. And stepping out of a black SUV was my mother. She hadn't aged a day. Margaret Quinn, or whatever her name really was, stood outside my old home like it was still hers. She wore a trench coat. Gloves. No expression. But her eyes scanned everything. Every window. Every door. "She's not looking for you," Leah whispered. "She's looking for what you left behind." Cole stared at the monitor. "That's not a woman. That's a directive wrapped in skin." I watched in silence. Until she looked directly at the camera. I flinched. "She sees us," I whispered. Leon nodded grimly. She's telling you you're next. I stood, heart pounding like footsteps down a hallway. Then I'm done watching. I pulled the key from my pocket, the one Angela gave me. Mirror House wasn't the end. It was the door to it. Leah handed me a single black envelope. Inside, a flash drive, a security override code,
And a note in messy handwriting.
finish what we couldn't. You were never the subject. You were the failsafe. My hands trembled. Leah continued. They built you to comply. But you didn't. You loved. You questioned. You chose. That's why she's coming for you now. Not to erase you. Cole whispered. To rewrite you. The files on the drive? Blueprints. Of my school. My home. Every system I ever trusted. Everything had been designed. Even my childhood friendships planted. Teachers? Screened. Dates? Vetted. But something changed when I met Cole.
He wasn't part of the plan.
That's when the pattern broke. That's when I woke up. Leah looked at me one last time. If you want to end it, there's only one place left to go.
She drew a circle on the map.
The Annex. The buried archive beneath CIA training grounds, where failed missions went to be forgotten. That's where the original Eden file was stored. Where Angela first resisted. Where Leah defected. And where Margaret was made. We packed. We left Mirror House before dawn.
Leah stayed behind.
I hugged her. She whispered in my ear, don't become their blueprint. Become their error. We drove south. And when we reached the gate marked NO entry, trespassers will be prosecuted. Cole turned to me and asked, are you sure you're ready to see the first page of your life? I said,
No.
but I'm ready to close the last. The Annex sat beneath a forgotten foundation, a decommissioned outpost, swallowed by earth and silence. We entered through a rusted hatch. Code from Leah's note opened the first lock. Cole bypassed the second. Beyond the steel doors, darkness. But it wasn't empty. It was humming. A server wall lined the left side, blinking green. Old processors. Dusty terminals. Files no one dared delete. At the center of the room, a single chair, facing a monitor already on, waiting for me. I stepped closer. The screen flickered, then bloomed into life. A video. My mother sat in front of the lens. Not composed. Not armed. Just tired. If you're watching this, Eden, then I'm either gone, or you've finally outpaced me. She inhaled sharply. You were never meant to be what they made you. You were supposed to be a safeguard, a mirror to their methods. But I broke protocol. I taught you how to feel. Her voice cracked. I tried to raise a tool, but you became a person. I glanced at Cole. Tears had reached his chin. She continued. When you start this upload, every copy of your file, the programming, the pattern scripts, the observation logs, will erase. You'll vanish from their system. For real this time. I turned to the terminal. Cole inserted the drive. Are you ready? He whispered. I paused. Looked around. At the machines that had dictated my fate. At the chair I once metaphorically lived in. Watched, coded, predicted. And I said, no more strings. Then I pressed enter. A lower began. The lights dimmed. One by one. Each file marked Equin/Eden.9 disappeared. Like I never existed. Outside, the wind howled. Cole and I emerged at sunrise. He held my hand like it was made of truth. I didn't have a mother anymore. Didn't have a childhood. But I had a name. One no one else wrote for me. Eden Harper. And I walked into the world not as an asset, but as its glitch. The one error they never saw coming.